able because we couldn't seem to figure out a webcam issue here.
Yeah. Gonna have
Brandon,
to...
show Baby Yoda. That's gonna be your symbol for the day. That's going to be your symbol for the day. How are you all doing today, guys?
Good. It's good to be back in person, you know?
Even
finally.
though you can't see all of us.
I know, but like, hey, you know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's hopefully next week we'll have something else figured out.
We'll get through it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. I don't know how, but you know,
it will work
some way,
somehow. Just.
Wow.
This is really weird.
Radical. You know, we could probably all like squeeze in back here.
Trying to see if the audio is working.
We could probably all like squeeze in back here. It's great. You can hear me.
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear each other. Yeah, do you want to squeeze in?
No.
Andrew's like, no.
Why?
I want to make sure. Hang on.
Because it's really tight back there, and
It's extremely tight.
I'm good.
You can spread your legs right here.
I'm good.
It's extremely tight.
I'm good.
Okay, we can hear everybody. Okay, well then let's get started.
Okay.
Brandon, you and I have had some very animated conversations this week about.
That's one way to put it.
I would say animated is the right way to put it.
No, yeah.
Is it not? About the difference between basketball now and basketball back in like the 80s and 90s. So talk about your frustration in watching these Eastern and Western Conference finals.
So like, I get it. I get what people are saying about like, oh, it's fun to see people shoot the ball and threes and yada yada yada, but I swear, players are just so soft these days, and like they can't handle being touched a little bit when you're on the court. Like, basketball, unbeknownst to a lot of people, is an actual contact sport.
Unbeknownst? Unbeknownst?
Yeah, it seems like that these days. Like, you go back and watch it in
of.
the 80s and 90s, and they were going to the rim, they were crashing the boards. Do you know where the phrase "crashing the boards" comes from? It's because when you go to the boards, you're gonna get crashed probably.
So speaking on that, to kind of give some context to this conversation, we watched the fourth quarter. I watched like the third and the fourth quarter of Game 6, 1989 Eastern Conference Finals. I believe this is the first or second time, I believe, of the Bad Boy Pistons versus Michael Jordan. What did you think of that game, and how did that sort of... Because that was the whole point, is to give us some framework.
Well,
how would you compare that game to now?
Well, it's interesting, because I was watching Jordan, and I was going... The whole idea of people shooting threes...
was not a thing.
Well, it wasn't a thing, but Jordan did it. Like, he shot threes sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
But he still went to the... But the fact that he could shoot a three was, like, this whole revolutionary thing, because a lot of guys weren't... Especially from what we know now as the three-point line.
Yeah.
But he spent most of his time down low, and he kind of dominated down there. And so the Pistons, their whole thing was they were going to beat him up. They were going to stop him from being able to put... And like, as we saw, for anybody who watched The Last Dance, like, there was a whole episode on it where they interviewed some members of the Pistons, and they were like, yeah, our whole thing was we were going to beat him up. We were going to make it hard for him to...
And they did.
And they did. But the funny thing is, then the next time they played him, the next time the Pistons played the Bulls, Jordan was like, yeah, no, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to go to the rim. I'm going to be tougher. I'm going to be harder. And I think it's because of the fact that and you see the same thing, you saw the same things with rivalries between guys like Shaq and Charles Barkley and even Kobe to a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe had that mentality of like, go to the rim, get
especially
beat up.
Early Kobe,
Right.
like number 8 Kobe.
Exactly.
Was
Go to
very
the rim, get beat up, stand back up, walk it off, brush it off, just like whatever, it's over.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like. I've thought about it a bit since our conversation, and I don't necessarily. I think I was a little bit hard on the players. I think they, because of the way basketball is now, because of the way, and I think a lot of this comes from college, where I think college basketball is a big problem, because it was really rough for the longest time.
Talk about the Big East in the 80s.
Right, that was really rough because a lot of the rules were the same in the NBA as they were in college for the longest time, and now in college basketball, it's basically foul. Like they don't let players develop the thick skin for, oh, it's gonna be a tough game, it's gonna be a rough game, it's gonna be you get hit, you stand right back up, you get fouled, you don't cry about it, you don't talk to the refs, you just get up, shoot your free throws, go back. So that's what I have really kind of thought about over the last couple days and been like, I think that's one of the aspects. However, I will say, I think there are players like Devin Booker who just have thin skin.
Yeah.
I think more so Trey for you, but Shane, in talking about that game or that 1989 game that we watched, one of the most interesting things for me ultimately was this idea of like, you get fouled and they can kind of complain, but they're more upset at themselves than like the refs, and then they just go to the line and continue the game. What were your overall thoughts on like the physicality of that game compared to the games we've watched over the last few days?
Yeah, scoot over. I want to sit in there.
You want to sit in the front, so go ahead.
No, I mean,
Scoot in.
just like there we go.
This works. It's not that crowded.
Yeah.
Not as crowded as California on a
Hey,
summer
buddy.
day.
No, so like, my thing with and there's
And
maybe
Yoda, which represent Braden Day. Go
no,
ahead.
like, okay, because I mean, we're even seeing this like in football nowadays, where it's a lot less. It's still a contact sport, obviously, but football itself is like, it's very there's lots of penalties against touching guys and doing tackles in wrong places and wrong times, whatever.
Quarterbacks, remember quarterbacks, you can't go below the knees anymore. That used to be a thing. Look at Joe Theismann years ago.
Yep. And then, and so now it's just like, it's the evolution of games, because I think a lot of it is, people are looking at it and saying, well, it's not as safe if we do it like this, so how can we tone it back? Now, whether you like that or not is up for debate, but I think that's just kind of what's happening, and basketball is no exception. And, that's just, whether you like it or not, that's just the way the game is now. And so I think that NBA players come into the league with that mentality, and so as a result, they kind of expect it to be like that, if that makes sense.
That's what you're talking about with the college game. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's sort of the same in.
Push me over.
It's sort of the same.
Push the chair over without freaking up your cables.
There we go.
It's sort of the same thing in college football, but I would say there are some differences, like the fact that in college football, I mean, hell, you see the quarterbacks get way more beat up in college football, and I think it's very much different I actually think, really, in reality, it's very different in college football from college basketball, because in college football, it's a whole different ball game. I honestly think it might actually help the game if they used some of the rules from college football, from the NFL in college, because it would allow for the players coming out of college to already be like, okay, so this is how it is, and it would be more of a fluid transition.
This brings me back to the 3-point era too that we've talked about throughout the week, of like, that is the only thing of the last decade maybe that is kind of started in the NBA and went to college. Right? Started from a professional game with Curry and all those guys shooting threes, and that really evolved into the college game with guys like Trae Young and guys like Buddy Hield, who are now really successful in the league. primarily because of their ability to shoot threes.
Well, I think that happened probably because it's like, I mean, a lot of these players are looking to imitate their favorite players growing up, and they keep going, and then hell, like, we are now firmly in the 3-point era.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where to be a good player, to be considered a superstar, in air quotes, you have to be able to shoot a three. Which is one of the reasons why I think Giannis, for, like, God bless him, is still, for some reason, trying to shoot a three when we all know he can't. Like, the man got excited about hitting a three in the All-Star game. Like,
It was a pretty clutch three.
I mean, it was, but, like, you know.
I mean, he's one of those guys that's like, he's good at so much, you know?
Yeah.
Except the three. And so as a result, you're kind of like,
Free throws.
oh yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the number
Free
one thing that
throws.
we're dealing with right
You know,
now.
I actually think I was thinking about his free throws against what was it, Philly? I think. No. Was it
Against
Philly?
the Nets.
Against the
Brooklyn.
against the
in
Nets.
Game 7.
When they were counting, I actually think the counting helped him with his
No,
free
it did.
throws.
That's what we were talking about
He
Yeah.
last
only,
week.
he only missed one.
Yeah,
when
because
they
he
did
was
that.
like, you could see and on his face, he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like counting, and then he took a shot. He's like, oh, thank you.
But
Like-
like okay, so this brings me back to another point as well. Oh my God, Rick Barry. Okay, let's go back in time a little bit. Rick Barry with the Golden State Warriors. Okay, you know how he shot his free throws?
Granny style.
Underhand.
So Granny style.
Yeah. Well,
He did?
He shot his free throws on, and listen,
Huh,
and
like
this is also
this?
from the Bill Simmons podcast as well. And they were talking about
Huh.
the book of basketball. They were talking about this underhand free throw thing, and basically what they were talking about. Now, first off, do you guys want to guess Rick Barry's percentages underhand?
70%.
80.
90%.
Whoa.
That's funny.
I mean, as long as it gets it done, I guess.
90%.
That's kind of impressive.
And Shaq, they were talking in that book of basketball. They were talking about Shaq, and Shaq basically said, "I don't want to look like a sissy, or else I would do it." So think about that for a second. Think about if guys like Giannis decided to shoot underhand and shot 90% from the free throw line.
I mean,
In these playoffs, if Giannis shoots 90% from the free throw line, who cares if he shoots underhand? He shoots 90%.
I'm surprised
Where-
you're even allowed to.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's no rules in the
No,
the
you can't.
No, I mean, yeah, there's nothing against it.
I
but
mean,
it's
maybe
just, it's
Ben
weird.
Simmons should be
Yes.
shooting underhand. Just
all the time.
so I mean, and again, like apparently Ben Simmons has talked with Doc Rivers, and they're like working. They're gonna work together to help his shot and like
They want to change his shot. And before
Yeah.
we'll get to Ben Simmons a bit, but like imagine if Giannis got 90% from the free throw line.
right.
They're a much different team.
That's true.
They play different, and they're much better. They're much better because of it. They're much better than Atlanta because of it. And that's the thing that I've been so frustrated with in the series. We talked about how big Philly was,
Yeah.
right? In that series. We talked about how big Philly was in that series for Atlanta. And the Bucks are bigger. They are much, much bigger. And because of that, that's why I get so frustrated with Giannis, with even Brook Lopez. It's like, I know it's old school.
Yeah.
I know the percentages show, air quotes, sorry, can't do air quotes with a broken hand. Or not broken hand, stiff right hand. Shoot. Anyway. Anyway. They should play old school. With
Yeah.
an Atlanta team that
That's very
can get
neat.
hot and
Yeah.
cold. That can get hot and cold from free because every team gets hot
Well,
and
it's
cold.
interesting because like before the series, I said when we were talking about them, I said that I thought the Bucks would dominate the Atlanta, and you both disagreed with me, and my reasoning was the Bucks are
Bigger.
Mm-hmm.
but Robert said, well, that's why Atlanta's going to win, because they're smaller and they'll be able to take advantage of that. What I didn't think about is the fact that Atlanta is like a new school team, and the Bucks should be playing like an old school team. And the reason that new school beats
Old school in
Old
this
school
area is
in
because
the-
the spread
and
of the
free
offense.
point and
Yeah.
the shooting, you just shoot over them. And if you don't have to, literally what the Bucks should be doing is forcing Atlanta to go to the rim.
No, what they should be doing offensively is going to the rim.
Yeah,
more
on
aggressively.
defense they should be forcing. They should be stopping.
Right. They should have them bunched up, and we play a spread
Yeah.
system. The offense
Yeah.
controls that in many cases, but that's why Kevin Huerter was so big for them in
Right.
against Philly
And it's interesting because Atlanta is stopping. They're also doing a pretty good. Atlanta's doing a pretty good job of stopping the Bucks from just from driving. And
Am I weird to say that, especially in that fourth quarter, and Shane, you can chime into this as well. In that fourth quarter, Trae Young was just like literally chacking up threes for no reason. Like Atlanta probably should have played slower than they did in that fourth quarter because Trae, there were possessions where there's like 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's still jacking up shots for no reason.
well, Trae,
Like they should slow down. Like I've always said that I think Trae at times plays too fast.
Yeah.
For his own good.
Yeah.
Trae Young was playing like the young player that he is. This is his first time in the playoffs. This is his first time
He's excited.
being
he's
the leader.
energetic.
He's young. He's excited. He also was like the only player on that team who actually was kind of doing anything that night. He had like 40 points by that point in the game.
He finished with a
30-something.
career high 45. I think.
Yeah, he had like 30 something points by that point. If I'm his coach though at that point, I'm telling him to stop it. Like he's just launching some like 30
footers.
and I'm like, what are you doing?
Unnecessary.
Like,
But in the fourth quarter, when there's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Atlanta is up. Let's say they're up. If they're up by a good, if they're up by a good margin, I should say, they should slow the game down.
yeah.
Offensively,
Well,
they should slow the
it's
game
kind
down.
of
Or just take
interest-
him out altogether.
It's kind of interesting
Got rid of
because
Kendrick.
last night you could
It's too
talk.
late, but
You
either
could
way.
talk about. You could talk. You could talk about the Phoenix Clippers game, and in a way,
Did that game feel more fluid to you in terms of
it-
fouls? Because it did for me.
It did, but at the same time, I would also say that I think Booker kind of got screwed over a little bit.
Yeah,
With
well,
some of his
Patrick
fouls.
Beverly finally played.
He did a
proper
good
defense.
job. Well,
He did a
no,
like he's been good all
but he also
playoffs.
did,
He's good all year.
He also
but,
did a
yeah.
really good job of playing into the refs' notion that he did two things. One, he played into the refs like eye line,
right.
but he also played into the fact that Booker is a very aggressive player.
Driving to the rim,
Driving
trying
to
to
the rim,
get driving
yeah.
to the rim.
Like-
Kicking out to Cam Johnson, kicking out to
Yeah.
like Jay Crowder.
He had that one. He had the one play where not Booker, but Paul had the
Yeah,
he had the ball and he was driving to the rim, and Booker kind of like
cuts in.
cuts in, and it wasn't like I watched it on the replay and I was like, I don't know if that's really a foul, but it basically what I would say is he did a really good job of selling the play where
Selling
he
the
was
contract.
driving to the rim, and yeah, it looked like Paul really like did contact him first, but the way he like kind of fell going out of bounds made it look like Booker was. So I personally think the series is far from over.
It is
100%.
100%. We're not.
There's a lot of people who on the internet who are like, there's a lot of Suns fans who are like, oh, it's over, like, good luck.
Hey, Clippers have been down 2-0 in every series.
That's my
and found ways
point.
to
Like, the
come back.
Clippers seem to, like, it's almost like they enjoy being down 0-2.
God.
And
I
then
mean, don't you see all those memes? It's like Clippers are down, and then Kawhi Leonard just turns into Thanos.
they
or
like
something.
eat their spinach and, like,
The weird part about this, now I'm thinking about it more closely, is how much the refs have taken command of that series
Yeah.
in specific. Like the game before this with DeAndre Ayton, the refs annoyed the heck out of all of us. Because, I mean, yeah, the replay reviews were important, but they were tiring. Literally, this is what we talk about, how if aliens came down from Earth, they'd be like, why is the fourth quarter taking 20 minutes? Literally, the fourth quarter took a half an hour. Like, and then in this game, the NBA probably told the refs, like, hey, just let them play a little bit more.
Yeah.
And because they let them play a little bit more, the contact wasn't as crazy and it was more fluid.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, especially in the in the later playoffs, it seems like there are less fouls usually because it's just let them play. But then I mean you have to regulate it somewhat. I mean you can't just be a giant free for all and everyone's just turns into a football game or something. But
less fouls, unlike the NFL where everything's just a foul.
15 yards looking in the quarterback's direction.
Blowing on the quarterback. Blowing in the quarterback's ear.
Let's switch to some quarterback talk, actually. It's a pretty good segue.
Okay.
Is Ben Roethlisberger going to get smacked this year?
Yes.
Yeah. He'll be out by... I think he'll be out by the end of September.
I feel so bad saying this, but I don't think he'll play the whole year.
I don't either. I think
I don't know how he played all of last year.
Well, he didn't. He was hurt.
He got hurt a bit, didn't he? He missed
he
a couple
was
games.
out for
he missed like
a
2 games.
while.
But he still
made
to the end.
Yeah, he made it to the end, but I don't know,
technically.
He took a pay cut to even come back this year, and
a massive one.
And
he claimed it was his idea.
Yeah, no,
Frick that.
No. But here's my thing. Man, Russell Wilson, I don't want to hear nothing from Russell about O-line problems. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear me. I don't want to hear me. No. You don't get no. You have.
You're not complaining because
you have an amazing O-line compared to the Steelers.
You got 3 Pro Bowlers now?
Yeah,
no.
They get a steal from the Raiders. They have 2. Yeah,
that's kind of old, but they're still better than what the Steelers have.
And the right tackle from Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pretty good.
It's Russell, be happy.
I think he is.
He's shown that he's happy now.
I love how this is supposed to be a Steelers topic.
Okay, yeah,
but you're ranting about the fact that Russell was complaining about the
I have a point.
I mean, this is what Brandon always does.
Yeah, facts.
Whatever.
It's even better in person.
I'm not complaining.
It's even better in person.
I have a point. I always get to my point.
Okay.
Sometimes. So the Steelers have had a legacy of having good O-line.
They're a physical team overall, both offensively and defensively.
I think the Steelers are going to finish the season with a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
It's not as bold as you would think.
Yeah.
It's not as bold as you would think.
I'm not saying it to be bold. I'm saying it...
Are they better than the Bengals? That's the only question.
Yes. A little.
Yes.
I would say a little bit.
Yes. Their O-line is worse than the Steelers right now.
I can see the Bengals beating them.
They could
They
split.
Steelers
They can
still
split.
have a pretty solid defense.
Yeah, but all you have to do...
Cornerbacks.
All you have to do is put together a good pass rush, and it's done.
I mean, that's what the Steelers have had.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Bengals. They have a pretty good...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think...
It's not that bold, but I still think the Bengals are worse.
I know is the Steelers are not going to do what they did last year.
No.
Which wasn't even that great.
No.
They had a very fluky, 11-2.
So they picked up Trey Turner. Of course, we're talking about David DeCastro basically retiring at this point.
Yeah.
But Trey Turner's not going to do too much for them.
It was funny. A lot of people on Seahawks Twitter were like, "Ooh, can we get David DeCastro?" And then all the commentators were like, "He's retiring. Chill."
He's retiring. Let's move on to the quarterback saga that never seems to end. In Aaron Rodgers. Okay, listen. So Aaron Rodgers could save $18.3 million in unearned signing bonus money and roster bonus money if he opts out of the season by July 2nd. So again, COVID opt-outs are back. You can opt out and get a stipend of $150K. So Aaron Rodgers could feasibly say, "You're not going to trade me. I'm just going to opt out and skip the whole 2020 season." Shane, thoughts?
But he wouldn't play for a different team.
No, he just opt out. And this is from Pro Football Talk. So, Mike Flory, Pro Football Talk. He opts out in a couple weeks. He can't play for another team. He just says, taking the stipend money, going to Hawaii and chilling.
Okay, but...
He saved a lot of money by doing that.
Here's the thing, though. If he does that, so he has 2 years left on his contract, right?
Yeah.
So if he does this, does he still have 2 years, or
Yes.
does he now have technically 3?
He has technically 3, but it would just the 2 years would carry over.
So
this
for him,
doesn't
it's
count.
just delaying his suffering.
He's just
For me,
treading water.
for me, it's basically just a year off with the stipend.
Look, I don't think he's gonna take it. I don't think he's gonna do it because I think what he secretly knows that. For one, he knows he's not going back there. Like there is.
He doesn't need to. Why?
There is no way he goes back to Green Bay. 2, he knows that at some point they will trade him, most likely to Denver.
And if they don't, if I'm him, I would just retire. And
Yeah, like-
and then a few days later, I'm unretiring.
Or-
And go to
or-
Denver.
No, they keep his rights. If you retire, they still have your rights.
Well, if you remember,
Yeah.
like Andrew Luck is still a
well, if you remember what happened with Carson,
Strangely.
do you remember what happened with
Yeah, Andrew Luck is still a Colt.
No,
though.
no. I'm thinking about the guy, the guy with the Bengals back in
Oh my god.
way back in 2008.
Is that Chad Johnson?
No, Carson
Oh, it was Carson Palmer.
Palmer. Yeah.
But he didn't retire. He just got traded.
He said he was gonna retire,
And then he got
and
traded
then he got
because
traded.
he said he was
He
gonna retire.
forced his way out of.
Gronkowski did that.
Yeah, but well, he did retire.
He did retire for a year, and then he got traded.
But he basically
No.
No. Actually, you're right. He
Yeah.
did. There was
he
a
was
story
gonna be-
that came out
was
about
gonna
it.
be
because he was
traded
going to
to
trade to Detroit, and he said, "Fuck that, I'm retiring."
Oh, yeah, the Detroit thing.
I'm retiring, and then he got
Right.
traded to Tampa
Which-
In 3 years' time.
which is
That was like
which is
during
in 1 year.
I mean, to be fair, he also was like in a lot of pain, and his
He
back,
needed to retire
his,
for a year.
His back was a little messed up.
His back was messed up, but then he won the WWE title. Okay, god damn it.
Yeah, when he showed up on WWE TV, I was like, wait a minute, I thought your back was messed up.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
So, I mean, again, but if you're gonna retire, Shane, why not just take the opt-out money?
Because it's like not that much money.
Yeah, do you know how much money that guy has? And how much money fiance has?
I know, but that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
they're
So
fine.
then, if you're him and you're gonna say you retire, why don't you just opt out unless he really does want to play this year, which
I
he
mean,
probably should.
I think he does.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he also thinks he probably looks at the Broncos and he's like, good wide receiver, good wide receiver, good wide receiver,
Not terrible a line.
Good defense.
pretty good running back.
Out west. Close to LA. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Not in the snow. Oh wait, it's Denver.
It's Denver, but who cares? That's a positive. You're up there, Mile High.
Probably
it's-
just launching balls.
I mean,
just like,
that's the thing. Like, Denver is, at least Denver is it's pretty. It's got the mountains and the
Yeah.
forest and everything.
instead of Green
Wisconsin's
Bay, which is just
nothing.
like a wasteland.
It's a bay. And that's it. It's just flat.
Honestly, you know what? I feel like all quarterbacks, all great quarterbacks who are like at the end of their career,
Go to
should
Denver
go to
because John
Denver.
Elway does
Well,
nothing.
that, but also if you think about it, like think about Peyton Manning and how he was throwing ducks, but his ducks were just like going super far because it's in Denver and it's like up in the up super high,
Yeah.
and so his
Brock
ducks
Osweiler
were like
replaced him. Yeah. Remember Brock Osweiler got this massive deal from Houston and he got traded to Cleveland?
yeah.
Like, and the coach and Bill O'Brien never saw him ever before they signed him.
Bill O'Brien, the man who single-handedly destroyed the Texans.
And doesn't have to do anything about it. He's back with Alabama, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Alright, so now we're going to do our division previews. We're starting with the NFC and AFC West. Now that we're finally in person, thanks to all of us being vaccinated, we're starting out the division previews with the
Get
Seattle...
your COVID stabbing
It's not a stab.
if you haven't already.
So, we're talking about... Okay, so the main reason why we want to start with the NFC West, of course, locally here in Seattle, but also, we are all, including myself, who doesn't really view the Seahawks always that highly in the NFC West, thinks that the Seahawks are super underrated nationally.
Mm-hmm.
We all do because the one team that everyone's talking about in the NFC is the Rams
And the 49ers.
and the 49ers. But I guess our overall question is why? Shane, you start. Why do you think the media are so big on the Rams and the Niners?
The Rams, it's simple. They were a good team last year. 10-6. They looked pretty good. Won a game in the playoffs.
I got you. Hang on. Yeah, go ahead.
But you're looking at it upside down.
I know. Get switched.
But the one problem I think that most people had with the Rams is they didn't have a good enough quarterback. So what do? They get Matthew Stafford, who most people think is, a step up, which he is. And so, for that reason, I think most people, myself included, were looking at them at first and saying, "Oh yeah, okay, they're going to be great now. They're going to win another game or two." But I think what a lot of people are forgetting is the fact that they've lost a lot of defensive pieces. They lost one of their key defensive linemen, not Aaron Donald, but Michael
Brockers. I think Brockers is gone.
And their strong safety, John Johnson, right? And and I mean thank you. They were
just change it on the.
They were already pretty weak at linebacker, and but they had like a good secondary and defensive line. Well, now their secondary defensive lines are a little bit weaker. So, I mean, realistically, I think they'll. And here's the thing about Matt Stafford: while he is a step up from Goff,
100%,
absolutely. I think a lot of us were looking at it and thinking that they got like an Aaron Rodgers or a Patrick Mahomes, but
I wasn't.
But no, I know you weren't.
But I feel very vindicated right now.
but in reality, they got a Derek Carr or a.
Hey, don't talk shit about Derek Carr. Derek Carr's good.
Is he better than Matthew Stafford?
No, but he's still.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
okay.
Yeah, no, like he's still good, but not like
okay.
This amazing guy. That's.
I was just making sure.
yeah, no, it's okay. So, for that reason, I think they'll probably be about the same, really, because of what they gained and lost. And as for San Francisco, I mean, I think a lot of people are looking at that 2019 team that made the Super Bowl, and they still have a few, not very many, but a few people from that team, like Kittle, Bosa, whoever.
They're healthy now. That team is back and healthy.
Right.
But for how long is the ultimate question.
That's the thing.
They're already starting to get injured.
They got injured a lot in camp.
They've already started camp, and they're already getting injured. It's like...
And a lot of the key pieces they had that got them to the Super Bowl are gone now. So, and I mean, if you even look at them last year, even when they were healthy, they didn't look that great.
Yeah, and I also think that like one of the things people forget about and you talk about the key pieces aspect is they've lost some of their. Like, one of the things they had is their wide receivers weren't, like, big names.
Yeah.
And so they were guys who were always there for, what's his name? The quarterback.
Garoppolo.
For Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
A lot of them are gone.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guys who played wide receiver in that Super Bowl are gone.
Here's the wide receiver depth chart right now. Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Hurd.
Right.
Actually, no. Brandon Ayuk at 1. Debo Samuel, and Richie James. That's their top 3 receivers right now.
Ayuk is the only one, I think, who was...
And Debo. But they're both
in
the same...
Super Bowl. Debo did not play in the Super Bowl. Did he?
He did.
He did. Yeah.
So, but hang on.
Debo Samuel and
not
Sanders.
Yeah.
That's
Sanders.
Right. Yeah.
But Ayuk wasn't there. Obviously, he got drafted last year.
Right.
But the thing with Ayuk and Samuel, both of them being 1 and 2, they're the same prototype of player.
Right, they're the same guy.
They're the same prototype. So
which is not exactly what you want.
No.
And so for me,
no, absolutely not.
I think if I was gonna go, but I will say this: if I was gonna go, who do I think is going to be in a position to compete more? Would I put the Rams or the 49ers ahead? I would put the 49ers ahead of the Rams. And the reason I say that is because
if they're healthy.
And the reason I say that is because teams that get really good when they bring in a new quarterback usually don't show what they have the first season. So I would say if Matthew Stafford is going to end up being amazing in his second half of his career with a new team, I would say he will show that he's better than people think he is this year, but I don't think he's going to have his explosive look at me,
coming out
I'm
party.
Amazing. coming out party. I think that'll probably happen next year or the year after.
Yeah.
I think it might be a build-up sort of thing where it's like they build up around him and then boom, they're in the Super Bowl and they're winning it or something.
What-
like that.
I mean, you look at Tampa, with Brady.
Well, that
You know,
It took an entire year before the playoffs.
Exactly.
and we've had a conversation about this. They were already built. They just needed the quarterback.
Yeah.
So
The Rams are debuilding because of cap and finally got their
That's
quarterback.
why I don't. That's why I don't trust the hype. I don't think.
Yeah.
They put themselves in a position 2 years ago where they went out and bought all these players, screwed up their cap
For like the next
for
3
the next,
years.
to win right away. And I remember saying, I think it was literally the first year we started doing the show together.
Yeah.
I remember saying the whole year, y'all love the Rams, and I was like, okay, cool. They might be successful this year, but they better win it this year because they're not gonna have another chance.
Yeah.
So
The only thing I will say right now, when you're talking about what I'm hearing out of Rams camp, and what everyone seems to be hearing out of Rams camp, which should scare the rest of the NFC West, in some capacity, is how giddy Sean McVay is on Stafford.
oh, Sean McVay, I don't trust
Because
that guy.
Stafford, because like here's the thing, I have never seen Sean McVay be more happy at camp than
Sean
he is
McVay
now.
is probably happy just because he doesn't have to deal with Jared Goff.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so what? Like, yeah, you don't have to deal with Jared.
What about defense?
What does that exactly? What does it like? That's the thing. People forget about
I think
defense
people
all
are
the
just-
time. The
Yeah.
Rams have one amazing defensive
Two.
play. Two. Okay, fine. Two.
Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
That's it. Only problem with that for the Seahawks though is Aaron Donald is the only player in the league who can consistently give Russell Wilson nightmares, and we have never been able
Who
to find.
is-
We have never been able to find a player to stop him.
Well, nobody can stop him.
Exactly.
Nobody can.
Um,
Yeah.
Even the best O lineman can't stop him.
Yeah, I mean, he beats out triple coverage.
Yeah.
Triple.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yikes. This defense. This defense is terrible.
but I actually think
it's so bad.
I actually think, talking about Aaron Donald, I actually believe from some of the things that are being hinted at from
Camp.
camp with the Seahawks, the new offensive coordinator and some of the stuff that they're changing it up. I think if they're really going more of a mixing it up, having some short passing stuff, medium passing stuff, long stuff,
Still running the ball.
still running the ball. I think, and that's one of the things, they're putting the focus back more on running the ball while not being so extremely locked into running the ball and throwing it as well. I think if they can get Russell to do shorter passes, they can prevent him from being taken out by Aaron Donald so much when they play the Rams, and just take advantage of Donald's tendencies just to like go.
Pressure. What has been so interesting in DK kind of first hinted at this at the beginning of camp is they're changing the route combos a lot.
Yeah.
Which I was sort of surprised by, which shows kind of a little bit how vanilla that offense has been from a passing game standpoint in the past. But that's why I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on them, at least offensively. And obviously we'll have to see it once the season starts, and it might still be a build-up. But that offense excites me for the first time in a long while.
Well, I'm intrigued.
And
Yeah.
I think one thing that's good to know as well is that players have said multiple times that they're asked if, is Pete Carroll, what's he saying about the offense, or is he intervening in that? And they're like, no, he's done nothing. He's letting Shane do the entire. He's letting him do it.
Yeah, do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not getting in the way.
Which is good. Which is what you
It's
want to know.
so much better.
It's what you want to hear. Like,
Yeah.
and I truly believe, like, what excites me from the passing game point of view is that Shane Waldron was the passing guy for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
He's also happy not having to deal with Goff.
For how frustrated, and like I remember watching the Rams, it was pretty frustrating the last couple of years seeing them pass all over the place and all their different passing plays, and and that was
the
with
creativeness of the
Right.
offense that we haven't had.
right, and that was
That
with Goff.
Yeah.
So when you have Russell Wilson, think about Shane Waldron. He's like, I'm the offensive coordinator now. I have Russell, I have DK, I have Lockett, I have
You bring in Dwayne Eskridge, who's going to
I
be
got
third.
Eskridge, I got all these other guys.
Gerald Everett, who
Right,
they
he-
say is going
he
to
gets
be.
to work
he's
with
gonna
Everett
be,
again.
He's going to. People say he's going to pop off,
Yeah,
which I'm
I
starting
think-
to believe.
I was hyped when we got Everett because he's been one of the best like tight ends in the league. I think you pair that
And he's
with
a good blocking tight end.
yeah,
too.
you pair that with a phenomenal defense, and honestly, this
I wouldn't
is,
say they're phenomenal, but they're getting better.
I mean, they killed it at the end, like to start like from the middle of the season to the end of the season last year. I would say they were pretty phenomenal.
Their number one corner is Ahkello Witherspoon. That scares me.
I mean,
Yeah, corner they're really
Yeah.
bad. But the rest of their defense, I feel pretty good about.
I'd be
I'm good with Quandre Diggs. I'm obviously amazing with Jamal Adams.
I think
Bobby
they're
Wagner,
a
but-
great safety
I'd be
pair.
pretty surprised
Oh,
if
they're
they.
incredible. They're so underrated.
I'd be
That's
pretty
the thing.
surprised if they don't bring in another veteran corner
Sherman.
before.
Sherman.
I think, yeah.
Do
I
you
think
really
they'd be
think
good.
it'll be Sherman?
Yes, I think they're the only team that's interested. I really
Yeah,
do. I think it's
I
gonna
know
be
he's
Sherman.
interested in them.
Yes.
Another,
think it's gonna
one
be
thing
Sherman.
that does make me think it could be Sherman is that Sherman was paired with Witherspoon in San Francisco.
That's true.
And they've worked together on the field together.
That's true.
Before, and
Yeah.
Apparently they liked each other a lot. So
What I love about Sherman always, like, he's at the back end of his career, right? But the second phase of his career, the second year
Yeah.
with the 49ers,
he was great.
what I loved about him is, like, he just knows that cover
Yeah.
3 scheme so well that it's about his smarts. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as aggressive as he used to be, but he is so smart.
I don't know if he could still play the Seahawks style of bump and run anymore though, because he's
Yeah.
slower.
Yeah.
But I would, as a Seahawks fan, I would love it to see him come back, play for the Seahawks, maybe a year or two, retire as a Hawk.
He will retire this Seahawks.
So.
Before we actually get to we're doing another category, most overrated, most underrated, as well as our X factors. Before we do that, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. So AJ Green said something very interesting with the Cardinals last week. He basically said that the pairing between him and DeAndre Hopkins will be unbelievable. And
Unbelievably bad.
Coming from AJ Green, that doesn't surprise me that he would say something
Yeah.
like that.
all I'm gonna say with AJ and him is like it's gonna be this core is gonna have to grow together. This wide receiving core, you have Hopkins, you have Rondell Moore, who I think we have great expectations for, Christian Kirk and AJ Green. Those four are gonna be so vital for them offensively, and we still don't even know what they're gonna do with the running game as they picked up Chase Edmonds and James Conner.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely built it out better, but I'm still interested to see how it's actually going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, I think Arizona is pretty good offensively. Not amazing, but pretty good. I mean, they got two pretty solid running back options right there.
It should be Chase Edmonds doing RB1. That's
Yeah.
what we're hoping for, at least.
Yeah.
Not only from an NFL perspective, but definitely from a fantasy perspective.
But their defense really concerns me. I mean, I just don't.
Malcolm Butler? Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Buda Baker's good. J.J. Watt is good, but he's.
Well, we don't know when Buddha's going to be back for
Oh, yeah.
for training camp because he's currently
Oh yeah.
dealing with COVID.
I think he'll be back in about 5 days, from what I've heard. So,
But, I
Xavier
mean-
Collins, like they've developed and they've been younger, but I think the biggest thing with this defense is Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
And
How is
and
that? That's
they-
going to be powerful. That's going to be hard
Yeah.
for teams
The thing
as
is,
long
though,
as both of them stay healthy.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because they're both quite injury prone, and I mean, let's be honest, they're not as good as they used to be, but still.
Yeah.
But the defense is not going to be that good. Like I'm
No.
much lower on them.
No,
On both sides of the ball.
especially their secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have J.R. Sweezy.
Yeah, they picked him up. This
Lol.
year. Okay, let's do overrated. Well, let's do X Factors. So Seahawks X Factor players. Brandon, you go first. Who is your one X Factor player?
I've said it once. I'll say it again. DK Metcalf.
DK's your X Factor. Another year where DK's an X Factor. 3 years in a row. His entire career. He's come into the offseason with that X Factor label for Brandon. I think I picked DK my first year, so he's been an X Factor. He's been X Factor for 3 straight years. Shane, how about you?
I'm going to pick the guy I've picked the last 2 years.
Who? Chris Carson?
No.
Who did you pick
Russell?
last year?
Russell, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's a generic pick, but I mean, like, the guy has shown time and time again that, you know, when he plays well and he's consistent, they play well, usually,
Right.
and vice versa. When he's off, all bets are off. So
Yeah.
he's the guy for me.
I'm gonna give it to Gerald Everett.
Oh.
I
Yeah, I can see that.
feel like they're really hyping him up. I honestly hope Will Dissly, I'm sorry, doesn't get on the field that much. Because I really want to see what he can do as a
Harsh.
proper tight end one. What?
No,
I want to see
get
what
it.
he can do as a proper tight end one for this offense, and if he produces at that level, this offense is going to be difficult to stop.
An honorary mention, I would say Jamal Adams.
I think that's an easy pick.
Because
Yeah.
just because of the versatility he brings to the
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the most overrated player on this roster? Who's the most underrated player on this roster? I have a pick.
I can't really think of an overrated player on the roster.
Overrated Tyler Lockett.
Oh.
That's my overrated pick.
Really?
That's
So
Why do you say that? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
So
wondering.
here's what I'm looking at this overrated underrated conversation throughout the entire NFL with him. The Seahawks always have these players, right? That only really fit in their system.
Brandon.
I'm like, sir.
Because honestly, I think if he's on any other roster, he's not the same player. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe at this.
That's my
maybe
point.
at this
That's my
point in his
point.
career.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's what I mean
Yeah.
in terms of
I
overrated.
can, yeah. I think
Is that wrong?
he is getting
Yes.
pretty old.
No, yeah.
No, I mean he is getting
No.
older. His speed's declining, which was basically his defining factor for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from being from a kick returner to
Yeah.
being
He just
Wide
fits
receiver
what they
one.
do.
only because, and it was only because we didn't really have any wide receivers at the time. Like,
Yeah.
so I do get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about it, it's fair. It just, I like
These
it.
are overrated
Or underrated?
Yeah.
Underrated. Underrated. That's
I've got a pretty out of the box answer for
who
underrated.
is underrated for you?
Wait, I thought you
Dwayne
wanted-
Brown.
Dwayne Brown underrated.
I
He's
mean,
old though.
I know, but like, when everybody talks about the Seahawks,
Yeah, that is pretty-
nobody
Yeah.
says anything about this guy. When in reality, I mean, I'm pretty sure he allowed only like 1, maybe 2 sacks all year last year. I think he's one of the best left tackles in the game, and nobody really seems to talk about him.
My underrated is the guy who hasn't even played a snap.
Who?
Dwayne Eskridge.
Really?
He's impressed me at camp.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think he could come out of this rookie year with an underrated label.
Okay,
on him.
so my underrated is a pairing, right?
Ooh,
So I have two. They're like
Condre and Jamal.
no.
that's actually a really good underrated.
My
pairing.
underrated is Jason Myers
and Michael Dixon.
and Michael Dixon.
That's fair.
I said it's an underrated.
I think our special teams punter kicker is underrated.
Jason
think-
Myers is still too expensive.
I think they're.
I think he's too expensive for his price.
Dude,
What-
he was pretty much perfect last year on kicks.
Yeah, he didn't miss a single
He
field
didn't
goal.
miss. Yeah,
But still, I still think he's
He's
overpaid.
worth it.
But whatever.
especially when we've had absolute dog shit.
I think.
I need to do my overrated.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, do your overrated,
I
my
think.
bad.
I think they're. I mean, honestly, I think they're the best kicker punter duo
Yeah.
in the league.
I think
I really do.
my overrated is Russell Wilson. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think he can get that label anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately. Another underrated for me is Carlos Dunlap. I think people are
Yeah.
underestimating him. But
His impact last year. Jordan
I don't
Jordan
know if I-
Brooks is underrated, I would say. Overrated's hard on this
Do
team.
I
There's
have an overrated?
I know who my overrated is.
Maybe like
who's your overrated?
Puna Ford.
what?
Overrated. He
Yeah.
was on the
Are
underrated
you-
list.
Are you?
He was on the NFL.com
Are you
underrated
high?
list.
Yeah, I know.
He was on the NFL.com underrated list. How
Yeah.
is he overrated? Just
Yeah, I
because he's
know.
on that list?
No, because everybody's like, I've seen a lot of stuff with people saying like, oh, he's gonna have a breakout year. He's really good. Watch out for him. It's like, why? The dude had like 3 sacks last year. He's crap.
I think for me, my overrated might be like Cody Barton, because guys, like
Locally, at least, yeah.
locally he's overrated.
Yeah.
Because like everybody's like, oh, he's supposed to be so good. What has he done?
He's a role player.
Yeah, he's a role player. He's like
My
as
mom's
a
favorite Seahawk is Ben Burkervin.
also
Local kid.
pretty
Because
overrated.
UW.
Local kid.
I mean, Ben Burkervin. I remember watching him with the Huskies, and he fucking killed it.
Oh, he was great.
And like, I'm hyped about going to some Huskies games this year.
Yeah.
All right.
It's full stadium.
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
Which team now?
Niners.
Niners.
49ers.
Everybody's overrated.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Let's do X Factors first. Who, Brandon, X Factor Niners.
For me, it's gotta be.
My X Factor is either George Kittle or it's
clearly George.
Trey Lance.
My X Factor is actually Trey Lance. I think he's gonna come in after 10 games and potentially, if he balls out,
Oh, he'll
Get
come
them
in
in a
after
good play.
he'll come in after 10 games when the team's like already knocked him
I
out
think-
the playoffs.
I think
set it
the
up
X
on your
factor
phone.
is whoever is the quarterback, whether it's Jimmy or
What is
I got
what's
Trey
edge?
Lance.
Oh,
Is that a cheat answer?
what, like whoever's starting?
Yeah.
That's not really a cheat answer, but I don't think Garoppolo is considered an X Factor
Well,
anymore. I don't think he can be considered.
I mean, the thing is though, like, the only times I've ever been good is when he starts. You know.
Even
Like-
then, bro.
I know, but I mean, they made a Super Bowl with him. I mean, it's got to be good for something.
So are we all in agreement it's the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even defensively?
I think last year for me it was definitely.
Oh, you know what? Since you guys picked the quarterbacks, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to give it to Fred Warner.
That's not bad.
I'm going to give it to Fred
Yeah.
Warner. And here's why I'm going to give it to Fred Warner. He gets a lot of hype, and he's really good, but let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
like 100% see it full stop this year. He has a chance to be an All-Pro this year. I'm not joking. He has a chance to be an All-Pro.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with
If he
that.
plays at a high level, he has a chance to be an All-Pro.
Yeah.
Overrated, underrated, Shane?
Underrated, I'd say Jason Verrett, because I don't think a lot of people are paying much attention to him nationally. But I think he's corner.
Oh yeah, Jason Verrett. Well,
Or
the
Verrett.
main reason that no one pays attention to him nationally, and he's very good, is because of injuries. He's
Yeah,
been injured
that's
his whole
the,
career.
That's the one problem.
So you have him at overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
He
Underrated.
should be underrated. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Underrated, Emmanuel Mosley. I'm gonna go corner as well. I think Emmanuel's really good. He's still building it up and building it together, but I like it.
Underrated for me.
Richard Sherman's still on this depth chart.
Yeah. Here's
No,
the
it's fine.
depth chart. But yeah.
Underrated for me. You're not gonna like this.
Who's for overrated?
Or sorry, overrated for the 49ers for me.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Why?
Like, okay.
He got hurt last year. You can't.
I'm aware.
Chalk up.
I'm aware. No, I'm gonna refer to the
He's
season.
still hurt.
I'm gonna refer to the season before. Okay. In this guy's best season, he had, I believe, like 40 tackles and 9 sacks. Which, yeah, that's good, but everybody's acting like this guy is like a top 3 right end in the league.
Because he is.
No, with those kind of numbers, not even close.
It's about his pressure, though.
So I'm gonna
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
So for my overrated,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Raheem Mostert.
Really?
I think he's pretty overrated.
I don't think anyone even thinks he's that great.
So wait,
Although
can I say something about that?
He's seen as pretty good.
Can I say something about
What?
that? I feel like Trey Sermon's gonna actually be the full-time starter in about 6 weeks.
Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You can change
there you go.
teams up there. But yeah.
Yeah, so he's my overrated, and then... See, the problem is, I think most of these players are just kind of... Man. I feel mean saying that, but, like, it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the Rams next.
I'd say...
Okay.
I mean, my underrated is Alex Mack.
I agree with that.
Center,
That's
yeah.
easy.
does his job,
Yeah.
That's
doesn't
easy.
get a lot of hype, but every time I watch film on the 49ers,
He's
I'm
solid.
like, good job.
Yeah.
You
He's
do a
solid.
good job.
Oh my god, I have a perfect overrated for our next team, the Los Angeles Rams, but we'll do X Factors first. Rams, Shane, go ahead.
X Factor for the Rams. Oh man. For me, it's got to be Aaron Donald. You know, I mean, just because I know the big point of conversation has been the quarterbacks, but in reality, I mean, offensively, they're probably going to be all right. What I worry about is their defense and everything
Yeah.
that they've lost. You know, is he going to be able to put pressure and, you know, keep the pass and running game to a minimum without much help? You know, that to me is the big key. But
My X Factor is Jalen Ramsey.
yeah.
My X Factor is Cam Akers. I
Nice.
think he's so important to how this offense is going to work, and there's Baby Yoda approving of it somewhat, or shaking his head. I think it's easily Cam Akers, and here's why. I don't... If they're going to be successful, if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, like everyone nationally sees them as, Cam
Possible.
Akers has to run that ball, and run it hard, and be that number one, and
Mhm.
help Stafford. Stafford can't throw the ball 40 to 50 times a game if they're going to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Cam Akers has got to run the ball. And he did last year. But with Stafford, he's going to get more holes. He's going to be more effective. He's got to showcase that.
Yeah. And to me, Cam Akers is my underrated for the Rams
Mm-hmm.
because I think that not a lot of people are talking about him. And
Fantasy circles we are, but
Well,
other
yeah.
than that.
but he's, you know, I mean, I think he's kind of the closest they've come to like their next Todd Gurley, you know, because that's when they were really successful offensively.
He's
was when
built
they-
like that, too.
Yeah.
He can do that, too.
was when they had that consistent runner, and I think they finally have it with him. So, yeah, and overrated. I'd probably say Cooper Kupp.
Not bad. He's had a couple. He's
I don't
had
know.
a couple bad years.
Yeah,
It's not terrible.
I mean he's fine, but yeah.
He had a couple bad. He had a great 2 years ago. He had a great first half, bad second half. He wasn't as effective last year.
Yeah.
My overrated. The reason why he's on my overrated list is simply because I think teams overrate his speed. The guy's old. He's not that good of a player anymore. It's Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
He's seemingly too valuable for teams now, and that's why he gets all the money that he gets.
Yeah.
Brandon, who for you? Overrated?
Yeah, I was gonna say overrated Deshaun Jackson.
Jackson. Same reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underrated. Probably Robert Woods.
For underrated.
Yeah.
For under. That's
I like
not
that.
bad.
He's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
That was my second pick.
I think this
So
year.
that's not a terrible
I think
pick.
this year he'll finally be kind of seen as the player that he's finally the wide receiver one there.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get seen as
Yeah.
That player.
Yeah.
Especially in this offense with Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, X Factor's Arizona Cardinals. Last team before we move on to the AFC West.
Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones
Yeah.
for X Factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we know that offensively they're going to be good enough, you know, but I think this defense that's really lacking really depends on what he can do if he's healthy and playing well. Being at the kind of not the center, but he can pass rush. He can go in coverage. I mean, he's very versatile. So.
Oh boy. Brandon, you got an X Factor? It's actually kind of tough.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins. I think that's the number one pick. I think it's the number one pick. He runs that offense for Kyler Murray. My X Factor's got to be Chase Edmonds. I'm going back to the running back. Well, if he's a RB1, like if he doesn't share snaps with Connor, that team's better. Am I wrong? Is that team better if Edmonds does almost every snap? 90% of the snaps.
I wouldn't say. I'd say like 70-30 probably.
Brandon, do you agree with 70-30?
Yeah. I could even go with 90%,
No.
I just...
I'm in the minority. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, what about you?
For what?
Overrated, underrated?
Everybody is overrated.
Everybody's overrated.
That's not an answer. I know who mine are.
Who are yours?
Kyler Murray is overrated.
God damn
I was gonna say that,
Oh,
but
God.
then I thought about it more. My overrated is actually J.J. Watt.
No, Kyler Murray is actually my overrated.
Kyler Murray is your overrated. Let's start with that. Why?
Kyler Murray is seen as this every year he's been in the league, everybody's been like, oh my god, Kyler Murray, he's gonna do so much. Hello?
He had a really good year last year.
He had a really good year, yet statistically. Stats are nothing if you can't put up the
points.
The points and the wins and clutch it out and show who you are as a player and
Yeah.
you can be great, but if you don't win, what does that really mean? And I know you have to have pieces. You got freaking Hopkins.
3 great receivers.
Yeah.
This year, but yeah.
Last year you had a Hopkins.
You had Hopkins.
Arguably one of the greatest wide receivers.
Top 3.
Christian Kirk actually played pretty well.
You had Kirk, who played pretty well.
And that was about it. Andy Isabella didn't do a ton.
You had 2 wide receivers. What were you doing?
And Fitz.
And you had Fitz for a little bit. You had a pretty good running back. You had
2 good running backs.
Yeah, you had a decent line.
I really think the defense. He couldn't keep up with his own defense.
Yeah, but
with points.
Yeah,
like their defense was so bad, he had to play catch up all year long. That's part of why he had go so many good statistics.
Twice he lost. I'll just say, I was thinking he had 2 games against the Seahawks where he played pretty well.
That overtime win was the biggest one of the year for him.
Yeah, but then he had his other one where he lost, where he got sacked 3 times on.
That O-line was terrible.
But he didn't do anything to help them.
That O-line.
That's why I say he's the most overrated player on their team.
So your overrated is JJ.
Yeah.
So you think the cost is too much for his contract? Do you think it was kind of unnecessary for them to pick him up?
Well, no, but I mean, it's just his age and his health concern me. That's kind of my main thing there. Which, do what you will with that. But
Christian Kirk goes on my overrated list.
Overrated?
Yeah. Not even my underrated. I think it goes on the overrated list. Am I weird? Because I think he should go on the overrated list because he gets a lot of hype, but he doesn't perform with the hype there, I guess. And, I think he's just overrated in media circles. Particularly in our fantasy circles. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's where I put him. Underrated for me... Boy... Well, I guess Chase Edmonds would have to be there, but I picked him as the X Factor.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
Underrated is Isaiah Simmons. He'll improve dramatically this year.
Yeah,
he wasn't that
hopefully.
great last year, but I see him dramatically improving this year into a really good...
Yeah, I'd say Chase Edmonds. Probably, for me.
Brandon, what about you? Overrated and underrated? We'll move on to an AFC West overview as we did after this.
Oh, let's say what we not necessarily our record predictions, but placing.
Where we place them.
Yeah.
Seahawks 1, Rams 2, Niners 3, cards for, I think, all three at the top are going to go to the playoffs.
Hawks 1, 49ers 2, Rams 3, Cards 4.
How many of them go to the playoffs?
Top 2.
I'm gonna say Hawks 1, Cardinals 4, and then I'm probably going Niners.
I mean, be contradicting what I said earlier.
Rams 2,
Niners 3.
Niners 3.
Who go to the playoffs?
I think Seahawks and Rams do.
Do you have anything for overrated, underrated, or should we move on?
Let's just move on.
All right, sounds good. Let's talk about AFC West. Let's start, of course, with the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a remarkable offseason. Remarkable.
Yeah, not too bad.
Did they overspend? Yes. Okay? Yes, they
They're
did.
clearly trying to win now.
Yes, they did. But this O-line is a thing of beauty. It's an absolute thing of beauty.
Really
now,
good.
their bench sucks. So if they get hurt again, it's over. But Joe Thuney at left guard with Andrew Wiley and Nick whatever, right? They're okay. Daniel Kilgore at center with Creed Humphrey backing him up. Austin Blythe. And
Orlando Brown.
And then Orlando Brown. Is that not the best O-line in the entire NFL?
It's top 5.
This
probably.
team pisses me off. They should not be able to have a team like this with their
I agree.
cap space.
I agree, but
It's absolute bullshit.
But the Saints did the same thing. It's all bonuses. It's all like Patrick Mahomes is all bonuses and all whatever.
I'm telling you, they are going to have it come back and bite them in the ass.
We understand that, but
But
for
do
right
you?
now,
Do you
but
really?
Yes, but for right now,
Right now.
But for right now, God damn it, this offense.
shouldn't be happening. They have no cap.
Yeah, but hey, you convert it to roster bonuses. That's how you do it.
I hate when teams do this because they're basically
Or
like
signing bonuses.
they're basically like we're gonna win. We're gonna try and win right now, and if it blows up in our face, and then we don't care. Which is like if I was a fan of Kansas City, I'd be like, okay, well, there's no future for us.
Defensively, though, I am still not that impressed with them.
Yeah.
No Frank Clark. Let's put it out there.
He's not gonna play, and
He's not coming back.
He's probably not gonna play for the next
He's on
20
thin
years.
ice with the organization. He's gonna get cut.
What do you mean he was on thin ice with the organization already?
The Chiefs have. There's reports coming out of Chiefs camp that he's on thin ice
Well,
with the
yeah,
team.
because he got arrested with an Uzi. He's going to jail.
No,
Probably.
He's not there anymore. So let's throw him out there. Other than that, so Taco Charlton's in his place. Taco.
What a great name.
Chris Jones, sure. Jaron Reed, cool. Derek Nottie, cool. Anthony Hitchens, cool, fine. Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, fine. Tre'Davious Ward, LaJarius Sneed was pretty dope this year. Juan Thornhill and Matthew are solid, but yeah, no, Shane, you're right. This defense is still a massive problem. It's a downgrade.
Yeah.
It's not it.
The camera's like flipped, so I'm confused. Anyways, yeah, concerning, to say the least. But their offense somehow got better. So
Yeah. We can do
Yeah.
X Factor players for this team. Shane, go ahead. Who is it?
oh boy. Well, I mean, who is my X Factor player? I would say Mahomes, but
It's an easy
they're
one.
still. But the thing is, though, like they're still not that terrible without him.
It's kind of true.
Have you do you remember the game against Cleveland?
When Chad Henne came in?
It wasn't pretty, but they still won. I mean, like, you know. No, I think I'll say Chris Jones.
Yeah.
For me.
He has to be the catalyst for that defense to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Tyrann Mathieu's going to be great, but, like, other than that, what do they got? You know?
Yeah.
I
L'Jarius
think
Sneed,
he really needs to hold down that front seven. And who knows how that's going to go. So, yeah.
or excuse me, Brandon, for you
Patrick Mahomes,
again.
because if he doesn't do well, the team's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He finally gets that RB1 shot. He's gonna do great this year. He is.
He had it last year.
He had it last year for the first half.
And he sucked.
He was solid. He was better than expected.
Yeah.
He had a chance to really improve this year. Overrated, underrated. Oh God. Underrated Byron Pringle. I think he's a solid wide receiver.
Pringle.
I think he's a solid wide receiver 3 for what that team likes to do. And then, oh my God, I literally should have picked L'Jarius Sneed for underrated. Whatever. I can't say. Oh my God, overrated for this team.
Well, my underrated is Orlando Brown, just because that was one hell of a steal.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I would say underrated. I would say Demarcus Robinson. Is that weird?
No.
For underrated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's not weird. Like, I think their receivers as a group, minus Tyreek Hill, is actually better than people think.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Clark's my overrated, just because he got arrested with it.
My overrated is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Really?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. He's not bad, but I just...
Mecole Hardman probably deserves... Actually, doesn't even deserve an overrated, but...
maybe Jaron Reed, because he left
Yeah.
a pretty good contract, and...
Yeah. I mean, maybe Joe Tooney, maybe the bit line, but other than that, there's not too many overrated, underrated picks here, to be fair. Let's do Denver. Let's talk about the Denver team. Okay, if Aaron Rodgers is there,
Yeah.
looking at that roster,
This is a scary team.
is it a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers
I think they win the division.
over the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Well, Sutton's hurt.
Yeah, but Denver has this thing called
Sutton's
defense.
coming
That is true. They do have a defense. Denver also...
Kansas City, it doesn't exist.
Denver also kind of showed me some things last year where I would watch the games, and I'd be sitting there going,
Drew Lock is holding him back.
man, if only they had a quarterback.
Yeah, to me they're a lot like Tampa 2 years ago. Like they have all the pieces, they just need a quarterback. You know? I don't think they're as good as Tampa, but I mean, yeah. Well,
I
maybe
guess
they are,
overrated,
actually.
underrated
I
on this offense.
I think underrated. I'd say Drew Lock now.
Brandon, what are your thoughts if it is Aaron Rodgers? Are they a Super Bowl contender automatically for you?
I don't know. I think they're in the playoffs, which is a big step for them to begin with. I feel like Aaron would kind of manhandle them into the Super Bowl probably, because he's like, we're going there, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, X Factor.
It's easy for me.
Who is it?
Melvin Gordon.
I have a claim.
Assuming Drew Lock is their quarterback.
I have a
Or
claim.
Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, what?
I have a claim.
Yeah.
I have a claim that I want to file with the Department of Shane Hansen.
Go ahead. I'm open for business.
Melvin Gordon will not play a snap by week 6.
Really?
Javonte Williams will start the second half of the year every snap.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that?
Maybe not. But okay, let me rephrase that. I'm gonna pull a San Francisco here. Whoever is the running back, I think, because at quarterback right now, I don't think you're gonna get much, because I mean, look at who they got. So I think it really falls on their running backs to kind of carry it, which is never a good recipe. But I mean, I think that's just kind of what they got right now.
Yeah.
If they get Aaron Rodgers, though, that would be something.
Brandon, for you, X Factor? I'll take Javonte Williams for X Factor for me, bro. I think he's gonna ball.
Yeah.
I'd say Cortland Sutton when he's back from being hurt, because I think
he's back. He's at camp.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Overrated, underrated Tim Patrick. He had a really good year last year. It was really impressive to watch him play. He's my underrated pick.
I That's who I was gonna say. Can I say that too?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, Tim Patrick. for
I
me.
think so. Overrated. Overrated. There's some interesting overrated picks. Nah, he's not.
Who's your underrated, Brandon?
Who do you have?
Mm,
Overrated Von Miller.
yeah.
No joke.
'Cause
Really?
it's hurt.
Overrated Von Miller.
I don't hate
he's
that,
not
actually.
He's not going to be as good coming back from injury.
My overrated is Bradley Chubb, just because
I also think that's not a bad overrated pick.
I think he just gets hyped a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have an underrated.
Yeah.
Overrated. Who is
It's
my
kind of
overrated?
hard for each team. I think what we're realizing doing this segment is how hard it is for some of these teams.
Overrated. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I guess Bradley Chubb. I would say.
Yeah.
For myself, but
Let's go to Vegas.
Vegas.
Let's go to the Raiders.
Still not used to calling them the Las Vegas Raiders.
John Gruden, I'm still pissed at you right now.
Why you look at me when you said that? I'm not John Gruden.
I'm not. You're not.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm still mad at Josh. No, I am mad at I want to set a claim with the Department of John Gruden because
We should call and see if he's open.
We
should
should
file
call.
that claim.
Kenyon Drake. Why is he on this team?
I don't know. I could not. I was wondering the same
Yeah,
thing.
why
Like,
is he-
what purpose does he have?
Why is he on this team?
What do you need him for? Go get a defensive guy. What do you need? I don't know. Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, bro. Yannick Ngakoue should be playing a lot better, but they still have Max Crosby and Clelin Ferrell. I don't mind their defense. I don't mind it. I really don't. I don't mind their defense at all. I think
they
they're
got
still
a little
very young.
better.
I still think they're still very young, but other than that, God, the main reason the roster decisions by John Gruden. I'm not even going at Mike Mayock. The roster decisions by John Gruden make me just frustrated.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake's their third-round running back. Why? Why do they need him? Why?
Yeah, you got this guy named Josh Jacobs. He's pretty good.
Exactly. All right, X factors for this group.
Josh Jacobs.
I think that's easy. Yeah, I think that's fairly easy.
Yeah, I'll say Derek Carr. Because we kind of know what we're getting with Josh Jacobs, you know?
Yeah.
But, like...
We need Derek Carr to have some confidence by his coaching staff.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Mine is Henry Ruggs. He's getting some hype at camp. He should for X Factor.
For X Factor.
For X Factor, I think he could have a really good year.
He's my overrated.
He's your overrated, really.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna be honest.
I think the hype at camp is legitimate, and I'm gonna pick him there. Keelan Doss is still on this team, kind of dope. Okay, so X Factor. Wait, we're at X Factor for you, right? So let's do overrated, underrated for you, Brandon. Sorry.
It's hard to choose.
It is. This segment actually got harder than I think we were expecting. I was expecting some more.
Okay, so my overrated is Henry Ruggs, and my underrated, I would say Corey Littleton.
I like that.
Yeah.
that.
He's a pretty solid linebacker, but he never is talked about.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
Yeah.
My underrated is Alex Ingold. That guy has actually a solid role in this offense.
I forget about him.
I forget about him all the time. He's
Yeah.
very underrated. Overrated, bruh. John Brown on this team just feels overrated to me. I don't know if he's gonna work with this offense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. You see why we're not focusing on the defense. They're just
My
not
overrated is Quentin Jefferson.
good. Okay,
That's
I like
fair.
that.
That's fair.
My underrated is Derek Carr.
Yeah,
You're underrated, yeah.
I like that.
Okay, and then
Obviously, I like that.
we're going to the city that normally gets the temperatures that we're gonna get.
The San Diego, or no, the LA Chargers.
God. Los Angeles
still
Chargers.
makes me sad.
Brandon, expectations for year 2 for the main man and Justin Herbert.
I think he might fall back, sophomore slump, or he might be even better. I don't know.
You feel like he might slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Shane, do you agree with that?
It's possible. I mean, I see him going up because that's kind of what happened throughout this year. He just like trajectory-wise just went up and up and up. And I mean, honestly, I think he'll probably be a top 10 quarterback by the end of this year. Which, you know, say what you want about that. But yeah, that's what I would say.
This defense is actually a lot better than I would imagine. Because if you got Derwin James back and healthy the whole year,
Yeah,
it's a solid defense.
he's my X factor.
He's your X factor. As long as he's
Derwin
healthy.
James, yeah. If he's healthy and he can play well, this defense is, I think, a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they got Chris Harris.
Have Jerry Tillery, Linval Joseph, Kenneth Murray in his second year, Kazir White, Joey Bosa, of course. Uchenna Nwosu's better than people think. But him and Nasir Adderley, Nasir's kind of fallen off a little bit, but if Derwin James plays at a high level and does kind of like that role for Jamal Adams for the Seahawks, that defense is so much better.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa's my X factor.
Joey Bosa, yeah. I say that.
My underrated is Austin Eckler.
You absolutely love him.
Dude,
Why do you
He's
love
my
him?
overrated.
Okay, you can shut up.
No, I'm kidding.
He continues to show people sleep on him, and he continues to show that he's so much better than people give him credit for. He's a two-sided threat on the ball. He can run it. He can catch it. He can do whatever. Last year was the first year that he really was given the opportunity to be an RB1, and he got hurt, but he came right back in and picked up where he left. How many players do you know in fantasy that
Even in the actual
NFL that can jump right in their first game back? They're like, boom, already getting points in fantasy.
This concerns me for him with fantasy. That's why I'm always having lower in fantasy. But in real life, this is perfect. They deserve to be top 5 NFL running back. Not even duos, trios. Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, and Joshua Kelly. That's fire.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's fire. Like, that is really good. So Austin Eckler doesn't always have to be the RB1 for that team.
No, he does, because I need him.
Are you gonna draft him? Are you gonna
Probably.
make sure you draft him again this year?
Probably. Well,
Maybe.
maybe. I'm not
Maybe.
gonna do something dumb.
Are
But
you gonna trade a bunch of
no.
stuff for him?
My over-underrateds are both on defense. Underrated, I'd say Michael Davis at corner.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows who he is.
Yeah, I was about to say, who is that?
But he's pretty solid. I think he's a good piece for
That's
them.
for underrated for you?
Underrated for me,
Yeah.
and then overrated for me. Remember who I said for San Francisco? This guy's brother.
Yeah.
Bosa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Bosas are overrated, but
Underrated? Shoot. Let me see.
shoot, bang.
Underrated, bro. Underrated? Oh my god. I really want to go between both. I'm gonna go underrated Jalen Guyton. Jalen Guyton could be a good 3. He was really good at spots where they really needed him, big plays, big moments last year.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. Overrated? Boy. I can't do that to you. I can't do that to a lot of these guys. Overrated is Linval Joseph. I think people are overestimating his impact to the defense, but either way.
Yeah. Now, what do we think the standings will be for this division?
Oh, jeez. Give me the...
Are we okay?
Oh, let's just
for this-
assume Aaron Rodgers is starting for Denver.
Okay.
Let's just assume that.
Okay.
It's going to be the Chiefs, Denver. I think the Chargers find their way over the Raiders. I just think their roster's garbage.
Did you say ostrich?
Garbage.
It sounded like you said that, to be honest.
We need to be on Peacock now. Twitch. We love being on Twitch, though. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, for me, it's gonna be the Chiefs, Denver, give me the LA Chargers, and then give me the Raiders in the back end. And then the
I'm gonna
Chiefs
say that
and
same
Denver.
thing.
Chiefs and Denver both make the last.
I'm going Chiefs, Denver, Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah, I think that's straight up for everybody. Okay, before we head out, are you guys excited for 101 degree weather on Monday here
No.
in Seattle?
I'm excited for air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm excited to plop my butt on the couch
I know that much.
or go to the movie theater or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's a great place to go.
I
on a hot day.
know.
It's so cold there.
It's so chilly. It's dark. It's cold.
I really want to go out on Monday. I want to take advantage of the weather, dude.
You're so crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a 100-degree day in like 10 years, have we?
And we're supposed to have 3 in a row.
Is it supposed to be this weekend
They're
too?
saying this weekend.
Let's see.
Brandon has moved from the chair to the bed. That is in Shane's room.
Hey, don't disclose where we are.
We're always...
I can disclose that we're in your garage. What? How many places do you have weather for?
Too many. Because when I travel somewhere, I keep the weather there. Because I'm like, I don't know what it's like there. And it's supposed to be 117 in Palm Springs, so I'll be glad you're not there. Yeah. 100. Yeah, so 95 tomorrow, 100 on Sunday, and 108 on Monday in Seattle. And then down to 88 on Tuesday. It'll feel like a freezer that day.
Does it ever get back to like 60?
Well, I don't, dude. Just like enjoy the hot weather.
No.
That's too hot.
But like,
I like
80
it. I like it when
degrees, I
I
would
like
say
it when it's
enjoy the
raining
hot.
and cold and
what's
50
your average temperature? Like, if you're picking a temperature, like this is where I want to like live. And
65.
60 overcast, raining.
give me 90 and sunny
Oh.
every day.
Give me
Oh.
60 and cloudy, like 60 and like the like gray clouds just completely over the top. So like it's.
I'll take like 6. I like it like room temperature, you know, like 65, 70 and sunny. I like
give me
that.
90 and
Just
sunny.
give me
I
an
love
air
it.
conditioner blasting in my face. Just
When
like
it gets
this.
to like 80, I start getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. What do we do?
Well,
What was
if
the
you're-
weather yesterday? The weather was what?
It was like
Like 80?
no, it was like 75, 80 yesterday.
Yeah.
I think.
I
I
mean,
went on a 2-hour walk
It's 80
and
to-
played
you're
basketball.
crazy.
80
With no problem.
Do you
77
not?
right
Does
now.
your body just not get hot?
I started trying to get comfortable with hot weather because I want to live in hot weather.
Wait, so you tried to get comfortable with hot weather just for the purpose of living in it?
Yeah, in the future. Plus I have
Why would you make yourself like, if you don't like it, then why would you go, you know what?
No,
I
I
want to
used to-
live in it,
I
so I'm
u-
going to get used to it.
I used to not like it, and then as I got older, I started to like it because I got tired of all the rain.
You're insane.
Like,
like the
60,
cold.
70 raining is like depressing. Like, dude, like September
raining,
and overcast,
yeah, but,
like,
like-
bro, it's depressing. Like, it's just
It's
sad.
so nice. Just I love the rain. It's cozy.
So
So
you
it
want
gets us on the screen.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm totally great with that. But like, dude, 60 and like complete overcast, dude. I am tired.
It's
the entire
cozy.
Day. I am tired the entire day and cannot function. Like I can't. It's so bad
I find myself being very productive as a writer in those times.
yeah.
because you think dark thoughts
No, it's just like, because I,
or funny thoughts,
well, you
not
know,
dark
because
thoughts.
I look outside and I'm like, well, I can't go outside, so might as well write.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, wow, this is great. But yeah,
Well, that was it for today. We got through pretty much our entire run through.
you got to see like half of us, like Robert, no Brennan, and like half of me,
Brandon's like over.
or like 5/8 of us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a webcam to work, and we had a Baby Yoda appear at some point.
What's his name? Grogu? Grogu?
What?
Isn't that his name?
I thought it was like baby, like straight up Yoda as a baby.
No, he has a name. It's Grogu, I think.
He's not Yoda, yeah.
Oh, really?
He's
He
just kind of like
the
Yoda.
same species as Yoda.
But is he actually like Yoda as a baby?
No. He's not related to Yoda.
This show takes place. I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah.
No, yeah, don't. But I always thought, anyway.
It takes place when Yoda's like 900 years old. So
Really?
yeah, so it's not.
Oh, okay, wow, okay. Well, I'm clearly dumb for Star Wars knowledge. I'm gonna get a lot of hate after saying that.
Nah. You still have to watch them. It's okay.
Yeah,
We'll get there eventually.
I will get there. All right.
Okay.
Well, have a great day. Enjoy the sunny weather if you're located in Washington. Probably anywhere in the country at this
Yeah, it's
point.
pretty much anyway.
And so enjoy the sunny weather, and we will see
Don't
you all
get heat
next week.
stroke.
Yeah, be safe out there. Definitely be safe. Be safe. And we'll see you all next week.
See ya.